guys, sorry about that, I made a start without you. I'm going to rough most of this area out here with this 60mm carbide bit. I've come down roughly 4.3, clean-up size is 5mm, so we'll get it all roughed out. Then we'll come in and use a 10mm carbide mill to do the slots, or at least start slotting out, and we'll swap over for the 6mm to finish them out. Anyway, I've got a fair bit of slogging to do here to get through this. Right, that has dropped down, it's bang on 5mm. So what's happened is it's come up to the corner here, and as it's cut, it's actually pulled it down slightly, but fortunately I was up about 0.8mm, and that's actually gone bang on size for 5mm, which isn't an issue for us, as long as we know about it and compensate for it. Alright, so I've got this down to depth now. I'm pretty fortunate. I've had to come down an extra, what, about 1.5 hours, I reckon, on that. Not critical, because when we put those slide plates in, those plastic slide plates, adjustable slide plates, we're going to adjust out the slack in those, let's call them gibs. So if we're a little bit deeper on this, by a couple of thou, just means we've got a little bit, we can just allow a little bit less slop. But I'm not really going to worry about 1.5 hours on that. Alright, I'm just running backwards and forwards now, just getting that to depth, and we'll get ready to then start roughing out the slots. Alright, looks lovely, it's all finished off the size. Alright, we'll set up now to start roughing out these two slots. Yeah, happy with that. Very nice. Right, so at the moment I'm just roughing out the slots. The final machining will be done with a 6mm carbide end mill, but we'll get this within a couple of points. Alright, that's roughed it out with just under 0.5mm on each side to go and 0.5mm on the depth. So I'll go ahead and rough out this one on the top. And we'll come back with a 6mm cutter and we'll start our final finishing cuts. Right, we'll get that on the go now. See you soon. Alright guys, back again. I've roughed all this out with a 10mm cutter. We're within 0.5mm on the depths of the slots and on all the edges. So I'm going to set up now with this 6mm end mill, and we'll start finishing this off the size, and we'll be checking that with gauge blocks as we go. The sections that fit into here, I was just going to put a 45 on them, but what I'll do is I'll put some toolmakers corners on them, or run out corners if you like, just so we can keep those edges square. So I've just created a quick drawing just to give me all the reference points to do those little toolmakers corners, and then I'll give myself another little drawing just to do my references for the final cuts. But as I said, we'll sneak up into these with the gauge blocks. Alright, let's get underway. Right, so depth on these slots is 7mm, so we'll come down just a little whiskers past 7mm, just so we don't have any little pickups on the corners. A bit of go juice for it. Right, let's set up to do the final finishing on this. I'm going to have to pull this out by about 1mm out of the holder. I was a little bit dubious about coming up too close to this clamp, so I'm about 2mm shy, so I just want to give a little bit more length out of that just to clear that clamp. So I'll drop that out and then just re-drill that down, and then we'll come back and start doing our finish outs. Right, plan is at this stage I'll run around and I'll leave 0.2 on the depth and on each of the sides and the ends, and then we'll gauge them up. As you remember, last time we did this slotting out to fit the nut on the back of this, this little cutter was pretty much dead nuts on size, so let's make a start. Well, I'll go and set up some gauge blocks and we'll see where we sit. Right, so the stack I've got up here is 16.63. And that goes in there. Bit of a tight push, but 16.63. So what I've got out in the digi there, we've only gone 0.03 over when I was side cutting on that. So that cut is pretty good. Alright, so that'll leave us about 0.18 of a mil to take off on each of those edges. And that should bring us back smack onto 17. Right, we'll get set up and we'll see how we go. Right, I'll check that with the gauge box, see where we're at, and hopefully we're pretty much bang on the money. We'll see how we go. Bearing in mind too that I'm going to surface grind the blocks that are going to fit in here, the plates. So we're going to size them back to this anyway, but just for my own personal satisfaction, I want to see if I can hit the tolerances pretty spot on. Alright, I'll get a gauge box stack up and we'll come back. Alright guys, so that's a gauge stack up at 17.02, which is the minimum tolerance I've got, and that's just an easy sliding fit into that. Into there, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, I'm pretty comfortable at least to know where this cutter's sitting or fitting, and I can come pretty much to my nominated sizes. All I had to do there was just take a spring pass just to take out the spring that was in it, and yeah, it's come up great. Spring pass just a touch more to give it that 0.02 over. Alright, well I'm going to machine out the next slot, and I'll come back when we're ready to start doing this little counterbore in here for the access to the crank pin, to be able to remove that to change our stroke length, and also to get access to the crank pin for lubrication as well. So I'll get this last one finished off, and then I'll bring you back ready for that little boring job. Righto guys, I'm going to do the drilling and tapping for these housing blocks before we do the boring on here. I'm going to move that bore down 2mm so it's not impinging on the edge of this, which means that unfortunately my parallels here are going to foul, so I'll need to reset that up again. We finished out this slot here. That happens really quickly once you know what your cutter's doing. So that's our 17.02, just fits in there quite nicely. That's bang on the minimum tolerance that I've set myself. Alright, so we'll get started, do this drilling and tapping for these tapped holes. Right, we'll get set up to tap them. Alright, sorry about that guys, we ran out of the batteries in the camera. It's a problem with an old camera like this, after about 40 minutes that's it. So I've finished off drilling and tapping our mounting holes for the guide blocks. I've drilled out diameter 22 and I'm now just boring it out. I could have drilled it out 24, but I'd like to put a decent finish on that. So we'll run this through now, and that'll just about be it for this job. Righto, that's that plate all finished. Alright, well, we managed to get another video in before I went away on our family holiday down to Torquay for 2 weeks, so this will be probably the last one if I get it posted before we go. So if I don't see you before, I'll catch you blokes back in a couple of weeks, and it's back to work for the new year. Alright guys, we'll catch you soon.